Happy New Year! Everybody's got resolutions. I'm no different. One of which being put the phone down. When it comes to just in general, don't need to be hogging on it, sitting on it all day. And then two, while I'm watching sports. I don't quite have the middle school Fortnite player attention span, but it's getting a little bad. Two, stop giving Minnesota sports false hope. And three, don't get mad at MLB The Show 23. I don't think let's be realistic. That's going to break within the first day. You guys know me at this point. But I am very hopeful. I'm very optimistic for MLB The Show 23 for a couple reasons that I want to talk about today. I think there is truly good reason for me to take my hope from the Twins, the Viking. Well, the Viking season isn't over, but I have a feeling it won't be lasting into too far into this new year. But we're going to talk about that today. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have resolutions or your thoughts and your hope. What do you think we're going to see from MLB The Show 23? We should be hearing news soon. Let's get into it. Leave a like down below. Subscribe. Out of condition. I forgot how to do this. So, I'm just going to start here. Don't have anything scripted. Don't need to, because I just want to give my earnest thoughts with some fancy little pop-ins and gameplay in the background. Doesn't that sound marvelous? So, I can't talk, obviously, about my positive thoughts for this next year without reflecting on my negative thoughts about last year, because, oh boy, I was not a fan of MLB 22, if you did not know. I didn't hate the game. Absolutely not. I just thought it was a big disappointment. What was good about 22 was what was good about 21. I felt it was, MLB 21.2. It was Control-C, Control-V. A near carbon copy with diminishing returns. Things that worked better in 21 kind of went to shit, such as pitching. Pinpoint, for example, was a lot tighter in 21. People had issues. It was too easy to pitch, and they changed that by adding RNG elements. Things completely out of your control, which just, leaves it up to the gods at that point. Things like that I just did not enjoy. Content was good, but it was the exact same as 21. So, how good can it really be when you're hitting every bullet point step by step on a formula, which the player base can expect that. There's times where it can be good for market reflection. I could anticipate the new collections and shit like that before they announced them, but it doesn't add too much surprise, It's like Game of Thrones. I finally finished it. The first couple seasons, like the Red Wedding, all that anticipatory stuff with so much shock that's earned, unlike the later seasons. It's so good. And at 21, we got some of that because they added new elements. If they build upon that and add new stuff to 23, see what I mean? It's good to have a calculated formula that the player base likes, such as now, but you also need intrigue. You need things to keep people coming back. Because if it's the same rollout as next year, people are going to get bored. Again, let's talk about my optimism. And I did have a chance to talk and meet face-to-face with some of the people over at SDS. And one of the biggest things that I took away from that is just the pride that they have in their game. And how much they actually give a shit, which I knew they did, but it just meant a little more to have those face-to-face conversations. Straight up, they mentioned they were not big fans of how this year went. They weren't popping champagne bottles like you on New Year's Eve, each day in and day out celebrating the marvelous masterpiece that they put out. I'm sure they're happy with a lot of things, and there is reasons to be happy with a lot of the elements in the game. Just some shortcomings they weren't happy about, and they were transparent about that, which I thought was very nice to hear again face to face. And another thing that was very eye-opening, because it's something that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on. Now, the game has kind of been dead for a while. We still had Finest, we had World Series content, all that, but for lack of a better term, the game has been dwindling for quite a while now. But you've noticed there's still been patches. The Xbox lineup screen crash, which has plagued this game since I think it was around last year, but I heard most of the complaints about it this year. Freezes, and a lot of them being self-induced freezes. You know what? Of course. It's easy to sit back in your chair playing Monday morning quarterback and, say they don't care and that sort of thing. They just don't want to put in the effort, but that's not really true. Fact is, they just weren't really aware of some of the stuff that was going on, which I don't really know how I will say that. I feel like it was talked about quite a lot, but I also got the sense that, there could just be a little bit of an improvement as far as the wider landscape of MLB The Show Twitter and, Reddit, I guess, by extension to all that area. Not just like the big accounts, not just the big streamers, YouTubers, and whatnot. Because that's often not where you're going to find this being tweeted out. So, getting down to the brass tacks and finding why that is causing such issues is massive. Freezes in alone, I had about 30 on the year playing on PlayStation 5, which is unacceptable. But now that they seem to have a better sense of why that's happening, I have reason to believe that it should happen less. Now, if we come back and I have 30 or more, or somewhere in that vicinity, I'm not going to be too happy. But I think that should hopefully be ironed out to a point. And yeah, just the fact that they still are figuring that out now, so it's not going to be an issue for next year, I am a big fan of. Another thing, as far as the dev team goes, I want to say I think it's great that they went and found 2 community members, Ashley Sanders and Seabrev. Ashley joined the team. I don't know if Seabrev has yet, but he's going to, and I just think that's so good, because, and I would never say that, the people working there or previously had filled those positions didn't have the passion for what they're doing, because they certainly do for baseball, and you would certainly think they do for video games as well. But just looking individually as creators, you're taking somebody who had passion for this game in specific long before there was ever dollar signs in their eyes, like myself. I played this back when MLB 09, I would have been 8. I've been a long-term fan, and I know Ashley and Seabrev have as well. So I think getting 2 people who not only know and have a passion for the specific game that they've had for years, they've had the experience of playing it for years. On top of it, they also are in the know of the community. Ashley she did stream a lot more regularly, doesn't now with working there. Seabrev, a staple. A lot of you guys are familiar with him and how insightful, how good of a player he is. Having somebody in the room with those kind of conversations is going to be big when you talk about not just focusing on the very bare bones casual element of baseball, wanting to elevate it to be more enjoyable to play. So I am stoked beyond belief about that. A couple points I want to hit. MLB The Show 22. Congratulations, it hit the top 10 sales in the United States once again. That's 2 years in a row. It was 9th in 2021, 10th this year. But it was a good year for gaming. Elden Ring, Ragnarok, there's a lot of, big ballers that dropped this year. So it's not lost on them whatsoever. So they've earned a lot of money, of course. Obviously, Sony San Diego is a subsidiary. Their parent company is Sony. So they're backed by pretty powerful arms there. And, always get into a lot of discussions here as far as, like Legends, for example. Want to clear it up for anybody that does not know. Legends, they cannot just pull anybody off the street. They can't, get Big Al from the Little League World Series a couple years back and just, bring him onto the team. We have your rights now. He's in the game. Barry Bonds, we're going to drop a card out of thin air. They can't do that. They have to actually get the likeness rights to these players, and it's done a couple different ways, either on an individual level, which I think is more so for the huge names. If they were to work up to a Derek Jeter, I imagine that is a specific conversation they probably have with him or an agent, whereas some of the not quite as big names, I think, typically fall under alumni groups. kind of a gray area we have is Ryan Howard and the Randy Johnson situation too. Because Randy Johnson, if you guys remember, he was announced in the trailer, subsequently pulled from the trailer. They erased all memory off their YouTube video. They re-uploaded it without him in it, just to find out not too long later that he is in fact in the game. We, did have a conversation about that whole issue too. And it kind of also happened for Ryan Howard. His son, Damien, on Twitter had mentioned that by the time the trailer came out, there was no, his dad was not aware that he was in the game. So it was kind of a surprise. So I don't know exactly how that works itself out, but new legends will come. But some bigger ones I definitely think are coming. Maybe we will get a Joe DiMaggio. Maybe we'll finally get no more Garcia Parra like I want, damn it. Johan Santana, bring him back. We talked about some new legends that I would love for MLB 23. You guys are more than welcome to check that out. I'd very appreciate it. Apart from that, my optimism stems from just the fact that they clearly, I hate to say it, they didn't really do much, again, as far as new features go. Co-op. I would almost bet my left testicle that they are going to have a ranked program for co-op this next year. I'm that confident. They didn't do really anything. They smoothed it out within the first couple months. It's very clear that they just want to make it a big thing, which, if you're going to do it, go big or go home. Do the created stadium thing. If it's a half-assed program that just resembles something already in the game, going to be a little disappointed. If there's not unique rewards, going to be a little bit disappointed because they waited the entire year and essentially had co-op be a ghost drop this year. It was there. I played it. I enjoyed it. But only a handful of times, because there wasn't a reason to. If you're somebody who's no money spent, you have obligations, you have work, you have school, have anything of that nature, you want to maximize your time that's going to fulfill the betterment of your team. Playing co-op is going to get you XP. You know what you can do to get XP? Wipe your ass. It's probably going to earn you about the same rate. Playing anything else is going to earn you XP, so it's not a big pat on the back that you're able to progress in the featured program for playing co-op. So that's a big thing right there. And just in general, I want to see content shakeups. I want to see gameplay shakeups. It's all but confirmed, or I think you could argue it is confirmed, that it is going to be on the last generation consoles. It will be on the PS4. It will be on the Xbox One. Want to say, if you guys have not had a chance yet, go to your local store. There's been a lot more of the PS5s, the Xbox Series XS, Series S for a while, but they're starting to pop up in some stores, so go ahead and check if you guys have been waiting for one. Or if not, I know for PS5s, you could go on their website and request to buy one for quite a while, and it will be fairly easy for you to do so. But it is going to be on the last generation consoles. I don't think that there's going to be a new game engine. I think they're probably going to hold off on that until it is exclusively on current gen. But certainly gameplay fixes can account for, just general hitting attunements, adjustments to pinpoint, and perfects in general would be pretty easy as far as that goes. You don't need a new hitting engine for that. And just make the game feel unique. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know if I can take another whole year-long slog of MLB 21.3 at this point. I just want it to be new. I'll say this, if there's a new content idea that doesn't work out, blame me, scrap it, and just go back to the same rollout, okay? But try something new. I think everybody would really appreciate it. So those are some reasons why I'm personally quite excited for 23, and I do think that it's going to be better. I would be very shocked if it is worse than 22. I think it's going to be a good year. So leave a like down below. As always, if you guys did enjoy, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. That comes out. Yeet.